Hello, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, depending on where you're watching in the world. My name is Dave Higgins. I'm here to commentate on VR Room's latest little adventure. The race was run yesterday, that's Sunday the 11th of August 2013. This is round 4 of the Cappuccino League at VR Room. Now, it's very exciting. The first 3 rounds have got a lockout up at the top with DM and Badger in the Team Rosso racing car. VRDM has managed to plant it on pole here around the undulating fictitious circuit of Autumn Ring Mini. Autumn Ring Full, I beg your pardon. So DM on pole, closely followed by Fredcat, the winner of round 3. Mr. Green is in 3rd, who couldn't make it last week for whatever reason. Race 42 is back in the paddock with us, which is great, qualified in 4th. 5th place by GHP, 6th is VR Badger, 7th is JB Player 1, the other Team Rosso racers in 6th and 7th. And then Rayman is in 8th. We've got Mad Dog McSheepy with his teammates in 9th and 11th, respectively. GT Shadow splitting them. Dizzy Mine in 12th, and Whiskers following up the back. Just before we get going, just going to remind us about the league table and which players are where. So here's the VR League table. As you can see, we've got Badger and DM locking out at the top with 37 points. 28 to Freddy Cat, McTaz 17. We've got 15 points for Rayman, 14 for Dizzy, Jez is on 13, and then we've got Shadow and GHP in 11th. Following up at the rear, Whiskers and Mr. Sheepies. So on with and back to the action now, and we'll see how things pan out. Okay, so here we are, straight back to the action. We're waiting for the green lights to go, and we have a go at Autumn Ring for round 4 of the Cappuccino League. DM stonking off into a fantastic lead he's held that. We've got Mr. Green in the background doing a little bit of swerving. It's all looking pretty safe and sound as everybody goes around the first corner. Very tight hairpin corner leading into a left, right, left flick into the kind of bus stop area. DM has pulled out a reasonable lead. He's managed to hold on to stay in that very close. Oh, it looked like he nearly lost that. He's got Freddy Cat in the background there supporting a different coloured car, and up wide Mr. Green. That was Mr. Green, very wide there onto the barriers at the back. Looked like he survived it, Mr. Green in 14, but no, he's got a bit of muck on his tyres there, and that caused him to almost spin the car out. So not a good start for Mr. Green from 3rd. He's now down in 7th place. Bit of an unknown, Mr. Green. He wasn't here for the last 2 rounds, but nevertheless qualifying in 3rd Autumn Ring has got to make him pretty strong. Now in the meantime, if we go on the back of DM's car, we've got VR Race 42 in the background in his lovely blue car, who again unfortunately wasn't with us last week but has joined us now. He's close behind him is Freddy Cat and Badger. Freddy Cat sporting the light blue car. Thank you very much for doing that, buddy, because I think you were in a similar colour car to Rosso Racing last time, so it's difficult for me to differentiate between the two. But DM has pulled out a very big lead, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see. He's about half a second to 1 second clear at the moment of the other rivals, as you can see. So dream start for DM. Let's go further down the field. Have a look on board with Badger, who's got JB Player 1 diving down the inside. So the other 2 Team Rosso teammates having a good battle here. We'll just go on board with Badger's car on the roof, and there's JB on the inside. Mr. Green poking his sneaky little Badger nose in. Again, a Badger doing a Badger to him. But Mr. Green, nonetheless, is close behind. He's alongside. You can see the shadow on the circuit there, just poking. So Badger has got Mr. Green on the outside, who's got him, but crucially Badger's got the inside line for the corner. But what an overtake by Mr. Green. Absolutely superb stuff, that overtake by Mr. Green, but crucially, as you can see, for the drag up the hill to the left-right chicane, we've got Badger on the inside, but he's yielded that. He's backed off. He's living to fight another day. That was DM just whipping around the corner there. Everyone else is literally nose to tail, so we're on board with GHP. Very good performance from GHP in those last 2 rounds, just a little bit unfortunate not to be higher up than where he finished. So there he is, number 66 in the pearlescent car. Looking very smart, that one. He's going for a bit of a dive up the inside of Rayman though, but Rayman again doing a very, very good job. The rumour around the paddock is a lot of people have been talking about Rayman and the way he's really improving. I know it's been mentioned in the forums. It's turning out to be a bit of a dark horse, as Mr. Rayman. He's really getting his act together and racing very, very well this season so far. So that's good to see. It's good to see in general, really. A bit further down then we're on with the 2MM cars. Unfortunately, right at the back there we've got Mad Dog McSheepy and Mad Dog McTaz, who are Mad Dog McTaz is just the one behind. So they're pretty much by themselves now. We've got Dizzy Mind in the pits. Now I wonder what happened to Dizzy Mind. I don't know, but I'll tell you something. I'm going to go for a rewind on that. Just bear with me 1 second. I want to find out what happened to Dizzy Mind. So we'll go from the outside shot. Actually, that should tell us all we need to know. So we're watching Dizzy Mind now. We're on lap 2 of 14. Whatever happened, now he's got dirt on his tyres. That could be the cause. I can't imagine him getting caught up with people because he's quite far back, to be honest with you. I think there may have been an internet issue before the race, so I don't think he had a chance to qualify, unfortunately. So he's kind of come into the race a little bit cold, and oh, there's the mistake. There's the mistake, unfortunately. Those curbs have caught him out, and that's what you get for coming in cold. We've all done it. I've come in cold to a race myself, yeah, damaged, very, very badly damaged car. That's a front and rear side bobbling about there. So very, very bad news for Dizzy Mind, unfortunately. We'll see him come round and go into the pits. Now, in actual fact, he's been fixed now, sorry. I apologise, I skipped forward too many laps, but unfortunately that's put Dizzy Mind out of it for now. So back to the leaders then. We're on board with DMGH, who's pulled out now a nearly 5-second lead. He is 4.9 seconds ahead of the closest rival, Freddie Cat and Mr. Green. Mr. Green coming back through the field there, was down in 7th, I believe, just a couple of laps ago. We are on lap 5 of 14 now, so we're about 1/3 of the way through. Be interested just to see who has got fastest lap at the moment then. So there's the live timings. The current fastest lap is a 24.977, which is DM. Hardly surprising, he is leading the race. Slowest car is Dizzy Mind on a 1:35, unfortunately. But most guys are teetering around the 1:26s, all the way from JB Player 1 down to GT Shadow. So it's very, very close in the mid-pack. Let's just see what's happening with that battle in terms of Fred Cat and Mr. Green. And I'm glad we're seeing this. So there's Fred Cat on the back of his car. Mr. Green close behind. Mr. Green looking very handy. Fred Cat has drifted wide. And we're going to see Mr. Green plant... oh, he's already gone for the slipstream. What a fantastic shot of those cars. And in the background we've got JB Player 1, but I think Freddie Cat will have to live to survive another day with that one, because crucially, Mr. Green has the inside line for the corner, which means that it's a shorter line and it's a better line, so he can apex before Freddie Cat and get the power down. Now, that's Mr. Green up into second after a dismal start, up into second place. Let's have a look. The next Rosso Racing car is JB Player 1. Doesn't appear to have anybody close behind him. Race 42 in the meantime is having a right old royal ding-dong with Badger and Rayman. So we'll go on the back of that one. So here's Badger. Let's not forget Badger was the winner of round 2. So he's clearly made of good stuff. And in the background behind those we've got Whiskers and GHP, I believe. So we're looking now at we're on board with 5th place man, race 42. We're looking at 6th place Badger, 7th place Rayman, 8th and GHP, all in one shot. Badger not quite as on song here as he was round the Spa Frankenshaw circuit. But oh, it's close as they go round there, and that's not a place you want to get too close to people, to be honest with you. If you can get the outside shot there, it's very difficult, that section, very, very frustrating, because you've got to go a lot slower on an entrance than you think, and those curbs can spit you off. Now, will Badger be close enough to get the slipstream down the straight for this one? And the answer is no, he's living to fight another day there. On board with GHP number 66 as he comes round there. Now Mr. Green is pulling away from Fred Cat and JB Player. So Mr. Green is starting to pump in some good lap times at this moment in time. DM, as you can see, that's 1, 2, 3, 4. DM has a 4.5 second lead over Mr. Green, so DM looking reasonably secure. We have somebody else in the pits, and that's Mad Dog McSheep. He must have picked up some damage, unfortunately. Not quite sure what happened. I won't rewind it because I've only just noticed it and I didn't know what lap it happened on. So that's bad news for Team MM, unfortunately. But nevertheless, out he goes to fight another day. And that's what you've got to do as a racing driver. You've really got to put it in. You've got to go out and try and fight for every single point. Because let's not forget, if something happens to McTaz and GT Shadow, being that we're only halfway through the race, McSheepy could score some heavy points here. So on the back of DM's car, we can see Mr. Green trying to catch there. Quite a clear lead from DM. We'll try and do the timings on that one again versus screenshot. It was 4.9 seconds. So that's 2. Or I'll try and time it again. Just bear with me. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. It's about a 4-second lead now. I'm only timing it in my head, guys. But I'm remembering the live timings on the race, so seemingly Mr. Green has caught up a little bit. He's about 4 seconds behind DM with 6 laps to go now because we're on 8 of 14. We're just going to have a look at the live timings and see what lap times Mr. Green's got down in turn. Now, that's not surprising. Mr. Green is 4 seconds, as you can see, adrift. He's 4.2 seconds, 4.02 seconds adrift of DM. But Mr. Green is lapping faster. Mr. Green's time is a 1:24.878. versus DM on a 1:24.979, and the last lap from DM was half a second a lap slower. So Mr. Green, this man here, is seemingly catching DM, and DM's in the same screenshot now on lap 8 of 14. So this could get very tight in a minute. We'll keep our eye on that. The back of the pack there, we've got Freddy Cat and JB having a bit of a ding-dong, very, very close. Let's see if JB can get a bit of a slipstream down the straight, and I want to see what VR Raced and Badger are up to. They seem to have dropped back quite a long way. The field reasonably spread out here. And is it looking like JB is going to get sucked in? He certainly is, but we can see that Freddy Cat has gone very defensive. Now JB may try the cutback round the outside. He's not doing though. He's been a very good boy with that one, living to fight another day. On lap 9 of 14 here at the very well marshalled vrroom.org Racing Room 1. Now VR Badger in the meantime at the bottom of his screen there is seemingly unable to do anything about VR Raced, and as you can see going round there just behind we've got GHP and Rayman, and I think Whiskers is catching up as well. Yeah, so look, we're on board with Whiskers' car now on the roof cam. And you can see the battle ahead. We have ahead of us GHP, Rayman, Badger and Race 42 for positions 9th, 8th, 7th, 6th and 5th in this race. So it's very, very close mid-pack. There's not much else happening further down the field there. But I can tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that Mr. Green is a hell of a lot closer to DM at this moment in time than he was. Just going to go on board with VR Badger's car and look at the pack from behind. And oh, a bit of a nudgy going off there from Race 42 and Rayman, and that's caused Rayman to bounce over the curbs a little bit. So rubbing his racing, guys. Let's try and keep it as clean and as fair as we can. Just a quick word on this action, guys. If you're watching this for the first time, please do subscribe to the YouTube channel on the top hand of your computer screen or whatever device you're watching it on. It would be greatly appreciated if you could tune in very regularly for the very latest races from vrroom.org. If you've not raced here, get down. It's totally free to do, to sign up, and you're going to guaranteed to get some good close racing. All the rooms fully marshalled, and we will run to full damage and full rules, full racing rules. It is really the home of online motorsport. So please get down on visitors, that would be greatly appreciated. So DM now, not got that much of a lead. I'm just going to check on the current lead. It's dropped to 3.104 seconds. So DM is being reeled in by Mr. Green. DM will know this, of course. He can see Mr. Green in the background, as you can there. And you can see visibly the gap has got closer. So if we go on the top of Mr. Green's car, you should be able to see DM in the distance, and you can. So Mr. Green is pumping in those lap times. I wonder what his current fastest lap is, to be honest with you. I'm just going to have a quick look. Current fastest lap is a 1:24.2 compared to a 1:24.9. That's over half a second a lap quicker than DM. So Mr. Green on fire here, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to see that this race he could overtake him by lap 14. So we could see Mr. Green winning this race, provided there's no mistakes made by him. But if DM, who's playing a solid game here, to be fair, if DM loses concentration just for a moment, Mr. Green is going to be absolutely on him. Now, in a bit, we're going to have a blue flag situation because Dizzy Mind, who we saw coming out the pits, I think it's Dizzy Mind, is just ahead of this battle. And he's going to have to get out there. In fact, he is. He's being blue flagged. Dizzy Mind being blue flagged for the leaders coming through. Dizzy Mind moving out of the way. And that's actually for JB Player 1 coming through, I beg your pardon. That's JB Player 1 coming through on Dizzy Mind. Or was it DM? Hang on, was it DM? No, it was DM. No, it wasn't DM, it was JB Player 1 coming through. So, Dizzy Mind doing a very good job under blue flags there. So, it's getting close. Now, JB Player 1 on Freddy Cat again. So, this is for the final podium position here today of this race. I wonder if he'll be able to do it. It'd be a very, very good thing for him to be able to get on the podium. It's JB's first race back for Team Rosso because he had to miss, unfortunately, the first 3 rounds. But as you can see, it's getting very, very close, and I think you'll see JB pinging one out the side or down the inside. We're not seeing Freddy Cat going too defensive, although he is on the inside of the line. But JB looks like he's going to be able to overtake, and he's always hung back just enough, but it's pushed his opponent Freddy Cat wide. If we can get the trees out of the way, we can see what's happening. But Freddy Cat, crucially, still got the inside line. Very good, very clean racing from those two. Exciting stuff for third place. Very exciting stuff for third place. Now, in the meantime, there's VR and Badger. Race 42 is under pressure from GHP, so Badger's pulled out a little bit of a gap there. And I wonder if Rayman is still in on the back of this. He is. Rayman's not giving up in 8th place. Fantastic shot again down the middle section, approaching the very slow right-hand turn. So we're on lap 12 of 14, and I can tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that Mr. Green has caught up a hell of a lot on DM. Now, we may see, this is what we want to see, we may see DM make a mistake, we may see DM come off, because DM now has to increase his pace in this race to make sure he stays ahead of Mr. Green. So we'll see on the back of DM's car how close Mr. Green is, and I would put that gap at approximately 2 seconds at the moment. Let's just double check on those live timings. The gap is 1.699 seconds with 2 laps remaining. 1.699 seconds with 2 laps remaining. We may see DM losing this one, and you can see visibly Mr. Green is reeling him in, and DM does not have an answer for this at all at the moment. DM's unable to pick up his pace. DM running nice and solid, trying not to make any mistakes. He knows he's only got 2 laps left to win this race, but that's 2 laps in which he could be caught, and look how visibly closer Mr. Green is. JB Player in the meantime is still under a lot of pressure. He has got Freddy Cat, so JB up into a podium position. VR Badger will be coming around that same corner any moment now, and there he is by himself out in 5th, looking safe. Whiskers in the background with GHP following down very, very closely down the midsection. And VR Race going through the midsection by himself. That's about the main action, but I've got to stick with this one. This is for the lead of the race, and he's being reeled in. You probably see, there he is, Mr. Green in the background. I'm going to check the timing on this on the last lap as we cross the line. DM knows he's closing in, and Mr. Green is driving like a man possessed. Not making any mistakes, and look how close it is now. 1 more lap to go. This could be Mr. Green's race if he plays his cards right. DM is very good at planting it defensive though, but we'll just have to see what happens. I'm going to check that separation distance as they cross the line. So he crosses the line now, 0.859 of a second. So we've got the timing down now to less than 1 second between VR DMJH and Mr. Green in the background, and you can see, ladies and gentlemen, how close it is. We'll have to stick with this for the end of the race. Oh, almost in the same camera shot. They are in the same camera shot. Less than a second separating them now at the Autumn Ring. My word, this is one of the most exciting races I have commentated on so far in my VR career. It's always good when you see an underdog trying to catch up to the leader, and you always kind of want him to go through. I remember something like this happening at Silverstone this year when I was cheering for Mark Webber. Really wanted him to win that race, but he didn't quite make it. He was catching up and he was a lot faster, and this is a similar kind of circumstance that we've got here. So, on the back of DM's car, and Mr. Green is very, very close, sliding round that midsection. Not much of the lap to go now, though, unfortunately for Mr. Green. He's got one corner to, one chicane to negotiate. Let's just see how close he can get to the back of DM as we go round here. Oh, and he's sliding the car around much quicker on the apex there. He'll be getting a slight drag down this straight. Let's just see them as they go round, and it really is bumper to bumper stuff. Will DM survive this one? And Mr. Green is in a prime position to be able to podium and to be able to get first. Will he pop out the side? Who's going to win the race? And it's DM just winning the race from Mr. Green. JB Player 1 coming through in third place, a very solid third place. Welcome return to the podium for JB Player 1. Fred Cat is ahead of VR Badger coming round in fourth. Here comes VR Badger, solid fifth place. We're looking now for Mr. Whiskers in sixth, flying down, and then Rayman followed by GHP, who is a long, long way back, unfortunately. I don't think we're going to have time to see those cross the line. The finishing will be race 42 in 9th, GT Shadow and Mad Dog McTaz in 11th. But what a race, Mr. Green nearly pipping DM on the line. Absolutely superb, outstanding drive from Mr. Green, because he was down in 5th there. So very, very well played indeed. That was a really clean race. No flags, interestingly enough, in that race, but it shows you how good we are at vrroom.org. So thank you very much indeed for watching, and like I say, if you've enjoyed that, please do tune in and subscribe to the YouTube channel. I've been Dave Higgins, thank you very much, and I'll see you all soon for round 5, which will take place at Cape Ring South.